Porsha Williams shares Shamea Morton friendship update. Porsha Williams says her friendship with Shamea Morton Wanji has taken an unfortunate turn. The Real Housewives of Atlanta mom shared the update in a recent Instagram Q&A, just days after her former castmate Kandi Burruss weighed in on Porsha and Shamea's rumored beef. "I'm gonna be honest. What I think is Porsha and Shamea had some issues during the season," Kandi said during her March 17 briefing on Bravo Stream, "and they really don't mess with each other right now." Porsha says she and Shamea aren't as cool as they used to be. The remarks caused a bit of a stir on social media, so much so that fans pressed Porsha for a response. "Any comment on Kandi saying you don't like Shamea?" one person asked during the live Q&A. "I don't know if Kandi said I don't like Shamea," the Atlanta mom replied. "I think what Kandi said was she doesn't believe we're as cool as we used to be. And yes, that's true." Porsha and Shamea's friendship rift will be explored in RHOA Season 16. Porsha didn't provide details on what caused the relationship to weaken, but suggested the dynamic changed after Shamea became a full-time housewife. The friendship was immediately tested in Season 16 after RHOA newbie Kelly Farrell began gossiping about Porsha's marriage. Shamea didn't hesitate to defend her longtime bestie and encouraged Kelly to address Porsha directly. In Episode 3, March 23, Porsha's mom, Diane Williams, questioned why Shamea would involve herself in the Kelly drama and warned Porsha to watch the dog that brings the bone. "I mean, when you come on a show and you have certain expectations, and then things seem to turn on you, without you knowing, that can change any relationship," Porsha continued on Instagram Live. "But I don't think Kandi said something like that. Y'all don't be trying to stir stuff up now. You know how I'll do. Y'all like free tea. Y'all gotta watch the show." But some weren't convinced that Porsha and Shamea were on friendly terms. One user asked why Porsha didn't promote Shamea's new song, "Never Had," on social media, unlike the other RHOA cast members. "Well, she didn't send it to me to post," Porsha said about the single. "I guess Shamea sent it to everybody, but she didn't send it to me." Shamea insists she's a loyal friend. "Sometimes that's a fault of mine." Shamea opened up about her friendship with Porsha in the March 13 episode of Way Up with Angela Yee, saying many people believed the relationship was one-sided. "I just tell them I can only focus on me," she explained. "I try to be the best friend that I can be to my friends and hope that it's reciprocated. And when it's not, there's only so much I can do about that. I can just continue to show up and be the person that I know how to be, a loyal friend, one that is gonna ride for their friend. And sometimes that's a fault of mine." Falling apart. The rise and rift of Porsha Williams and Shamea Morton. The sun had long set on the hot Atlanta streets, and the city's lights flickered like stars in the distance. Inside a cozy, well-lit room, Porsha Williams, a star in the world of the Real Housewives of Atlanta, sat comfortably in front of her phone, the camera live streaming as thousands of fans from around the world tuned in to hear her thoughts. This was a typical Instagram Q&A session, but tonight, the topic of conversation was a familiar one: her relationship with her longtime friend, Shamea Morton. The questions poured in, and Porsha, who had always been candid with her followers, took a deep breath, preparing for the inevitable inquiries about her strained friendship with Shamea. The reality of their disconnect had surfaced weeks before, and now, with a fresh batch of rumors circulating about the state of their bond, fans were eager for an update. One question in particular stuck out: "Any comment on Kandi saying you don't like Shamea?" Porsha paused, gathering her words carefully. Her face softened, and her eyes briefly flickered with the weight of history, the years of laughter, support, and, of course, disagreements. She took a breath before responding, her voice steady, but tinged with a sense of sadness. "I don't know if Kandi said I don't like Shamea," she began slowly. "I think what Kandi said was she doesn't believe we're as cool as we used to be. And yes, that's true. The words were heavy, and her admission left a lingering silence in the air. It was true. Her friendship with Shamea Morton, the woman who had once been a staple in her life, was not what it used to be. But why? What had happened between the two of them? To understand the unraveling of Porsha and Shamea's friendship, one had to go back to the very beginning. The years before they became mainstays on reality television, before they were thrust into the public eye, when their relationship was founded on mutual trust, laughter, and shared experiences. The bond that was. Shamea Morton had entered Porsha's life long before the cameras started rolling on The Real Housewives of Atlanta. They had known each other since their college days, a time before fame and the drama of reality television became part of their world. As close as sisters, their bond was one of loyalty and understanding, built on a foundation that seemed unbreakable. Porsha had always been someone who valued the strength of her friendships, and Shamea, who was quick to defend her friends and stand by them no matter what, was a natural fit in Porsha's inner circle. Through the ups and downs of the spotlight, Porsha and Shamea had each other's backs. They laughed together, supported each other through personal triumphs and heartbreaks, and celebrated each other's successes. It was the kind of friendship that made fans of the show root for them, recognizing the authenticity in their relationship. However, the introduction of The Real Housewives of Atlanta added a layer of complexity to their dynamic. Reality television, by nature, thrives on drama, conflict, and spectacle. Porsha and Shamea, while strong in their bond, were no exception to the pressures that came with being under constant scrutiny. The line between private and public life blurred, and as the years passed, so did the simplicity of their friendship. The breaking point. Everything changed when Shamea became a full-time cast member on RHOA. It wasn't a decision Porsha had anticipated, and the transition from best friends behind the scenes to co-stars on a show that thrived on drama was not as seamless as Porsha had hoped. In the early days of Shamea's full-time role, Porsha felt an unease that she couldn't quite shake. The tension wasn't about competition or jealousy, it was the subtle shift in dynamics that came with the spotlight. Shamea, now a fixture in the RHOA universe, was no longer just Porsha's friend, but a character on a reality show. And like any reality show, things were never quite as simple as they seemed. The issues between the two of them came to a head during season 16, when a newcomer to the show, Kelly Farrell, began gossiping about Porsha's marriage. Shamea, always protective of her friend, didn't hesitate to step in. She confronted Kelly, encouraging her to address Porsha directly instead of fueling the drama behind her back. In a show where alliances shift with the winds, Shamea's loyalty was a constant, but it was also a test of Porsha's own place within the complex web of friendships and rivalries. In one pivotal moment from episode 3 of the season, Porsha's mother, Diane Williams, questioned Shamea's involvement in the Kelly drama, warning Porsha, "Watch the dog that brings the bone." The tension in that moment was palpable. It wasn't just about Kelly or Shamea. It was about trust, loyalty, and the emotional toll of navigating relationships under the watchful eye of millions. As Porsha reflected on the shift in her friendship with Shamea, she couldn't help but feel a certain level of hurt. She admitted during her Instagram Q&A that the dynamic between them had changed since Shamea's full-time role on the show. When you come on a show and you have certain expectations, and then things seem to turn on you, without you knowing, that can change any relationship, Porsha said, her voice tinged with the bitterness of unresolved emotions. The realities of reality TV friendships. The most challenging aspect of navigating reality television friendships was the way they were dissected by fans, castmates, and producers. Every interaction was magnified, every word was analyzed, and the true essence of personal relationships often got lost in the shuffle of on-screen drama. For Shamea, the experience had been just as difficult. In a candid interview on the Way Up with Angela Yee podcast, Shamea opened up about her own feelings of frustration with their friendship. She admitted that many people perceived their relationship as one-sided, a narrative she had struggled with. "I try to be the best friend that I can be to my friends and hope that it's reciprocated," she explained. "And when it's not, there's only so much I can do about that." For Shamea, loyalty had always been the cornerstone of her friendships. But in the world of reality television, loyalty was often a double-edged sword. She would defend her friends, stand by them in the face of criticism, and be there for them through thick and thin. Yet, despite her unwavering commitment, she sometimes felt as though the effort wasn't returned in the way she needed. She went on to reflect, "I can just continue to show up and be the person that I know how to be, a loyal friend, one that is going to ride for their friend. And sometimes that's a fault of mine."